Hello everyone and welcome to lesson 2.4. Alright, this is a long objective, so let's read it. I will be able to convert percents and fractions for numbers that are greater than 100% and less than 100%. Alright, so we have a lot of work ahead of us. And I already had a lot of work today. I'm just really tired from the walkathon. I was beating Aaron and everybody else, but especially Aaron. But yeah, let's get started. So you've got to remember converting percents to decimals. So let's say that we have 42%. Just a quick review. All right, I have my imaginary decimal right there. If I'm turning it into a decimal, it's just 1, 2, get rid of my percent sign, and I have 42 hundredths. Because remember, percents are always out of 100. All right, and now if I have, let's just use the same number, 42 hundredths to turn into percent, I swoop 2 to the right and add my percent sign, and it's just 42%. Keeping that in mind, we're doing the same thing basically today, but we're going with numbers less than 1% and greater than 100%. Here we go. Let's start off by turning percents into decimals and fractions. All right, so we'll start off with this is less than 1%. All right, it is 0.2% or 0.2%. There's a decimal right there. Now, if I'm going to swoop it to become a decimal, remember when I go from percent to just decimal, I swoop to the left twice. All right, 1, 2, and I have 0.002%, or the percent sign's gone now, sorry. So 0.2% really is 2 thousandths. How do I turn that into a fraction? It's just simply, if it's 2, I read it as 2 thousandths, it is 2 thousandths. All right? Let's try another example. Let's turn percents into decimals and fractions again. So this time I am greater than 1% or 100%. I'm at 170%. So I still have to move 2 to the left, and there it is, okay? And that becomes 1 7/10 or 1 70/100, however you want to put it, because I still have that 0 there. And then turning that into a fraction, I just have to read it. So 1 70/100 or 1 7/10 is 1 7/10. If you ever have a decimal with a whole number, when you make a fraction, you're going to have the whole number and just worry about converting the decimal into a fraction. So I could also write this as 1 70/100, but that just gets reduced to 7/10. All right? A lot of work here, but we're going to get it. Let's turn decimals into a percent. So when we turn percents into decimals, we swoop to the left. Now we're turning decimals into a percent. We swoop to the right 2 times. 1, 2 becomes 168%. So 1 68/100 is actually 168%. It's a pretty nice test score. All right, over here we have 0.0075, or which is also known as 75/10 thousandths. All right, so I have to swoop 2 to the right, okay, and I add my percent sign, and I get 0.75%. So that's not even 1%. All right, so that's a terrible test score. It's not 75%. It is 0.75%. All right, that's really low. That's less than 1% on a test. That would be a bad test score. Great test score, bad test score. All right, last thing we're going to do. It's a hard lesson because we have to do 3 different things. We had to turn percents into decimals, decimals into percents, and now we have to turn mixed numbers into percents, which are fractions. All right, so let's say I have 1 1/4. I have to turn it into a percent. But before, you can see there's 2 steps here. Before I turn it into a percent, I'm going to turn it into, actually I went 3 steps, yes. I have to turn it into a improper fraction. My mixed number becomes an improper fraction. I have to convert that out of 100 because all percents are out of 100, and then I can turn it into a percent. So let's do this step by step. I hope I'm not confusing you. First step is turning the mixed number into a improper fraction. How do I do that? If I have 1 1/4, it's just 4 times 1, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5, which ends up being 5 over 4. So once again, I multiply here, and I add going this way. Multiply and then add. And I keep my denominator the same. All right, so I ended up, I'll do it again. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. I end up with 5/4. Now I have to turn it into out of 100 because all percents are out of 100. How can I turn 4 into 100? Well, I know 4 times 25 equals 100, so 5 times 25 equals 125. So I have 125 over 100, and I know anything out of 100 is a percent, so I would have 125%. All I had to do is get rid of the 100 and put the percent sign. Anything out of 100 is a percentage. All right, let's take a look at the bottom. Same kind of deal here. I have to turn my mixed number into an improper fraction. So remember from before, multiply, then add, keep the same. Say it to yourself or write these notes down. When you're turning a mixed number into an improper fraction, multiply, then add, keep the same. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 plus 9 is 29, and I keep my 10 the same. I have to turn 10 into 100. That's pretty easy. 10 times 10 equals 100. So 29 times 10, I'll just add a 0, is 290. 290 out of 100, I know that's a percent. Anything out of 100 is a percent, so it's 290%. And we're done. Okay? So if you need to rewatch this video, please do so. It might help you with your turn right now. Please show your work. When you show me your notebook or your paper tomorrow, show the swoops. Turn each percent into a decimal and a fraction. So you have a lot of work right here. You have to turn 125% into a decimal first. So you're going to swoop it and then write it. And then I'll do this first one for you. You have 1 25 hundredths. You have to turn that into a fraction. Okay, what is that as a fraction? 1 25 hundredths. You could reduce it for me, please, as well. So I'll do that part for you. And you just reduce that. All right, this one you're on your own. But remember, we're swooping 2 to the right. All right, I made a big mistake there. We're swooping 2 to the left. Percents to decimals, we swoop to the left. Over here, you have to turn this mixed number into a percent. All right, so 1 4/5 is you have to do all the steps, turn it into an improper fraction, and go from there. All right, good luck. Rewind the video maybe a couple times. This is a lot of work you had to go through, but good luck, and I'll see you soon. And Aaron, I'm sorry for beating you in the race today.